in Berlin's Zen monastery in Zhou County, Hebei Province, in front of the statue of a Tang Dynasty's Zen master. Tourists are always attracted by the abrupt questions and answers from the guide's mouth. Does a dog have Buddha nature? No. This dialogue, which seems to contradict the basic Buddhist doctrine of all sentient beings have Buddha nature, is one of the most famous koans in Zen history, Zhou's dog. It is like a sharp sword, cutting off the obsession of countless practitioners with concepts, and also like a mirror, reflecting the numerous obstacles on the path to enlightenment. Zhou's dog comes from records of Zhou, which records the dialogue between Zen master Zhao Kongshen and his disciples in the late Tang dynasty. When the disciple asked, "Does a dog have Buddha nature?" Zhou answered no without hesitation. This simple word, no, has caused waves in the Zen world for 1,000 years. As we all know, since Buddhism was introduced into China, all sentient beings have Buddha nature has long been an accepted truth. Even the most ordinary believers can say that even ants are greedy for life, and all sentient beings can become Buddhas. Why did Zhou go against the way? In fact, Zhou Kongshen himself is a living history of Zen. He became a monk at the age of 7, went through the war in the late Tang dynasty, and did not settle in Zhou Guanyin Courtyard, now Berlin's Zen monastery, until he was 80 years old. He propagated the Dharma for more than 40 years and was known as Ancient Buddha Zhou. This old Zen master, who spent his life going to drink tea and going to wash the alms bowl, was most adept at using ordinary words to break the delusions of the world. The answer, "a dog has no Buddha nature," seemingly negative, is actually a more thorough affirmation. He is not discussing whether a dog has Buddha nature, but breaking the disciples' obsession with the concept of Buddha nature. To understand Zhou's dog, we must first understand Zen's not establishing words. In Zhou's view, Buddha nature is an absolute existence beyond existence and non-existence, good and evil, birth and death, once it is defined with language. It is as absurd as when people stare at the finger instead of the moon when pointing at the moon with a finger. When the disciple asks whether a dog has Buddha nature, he himself falls into the dual opposition of having or not having. And the true meaning of Zen is precisely beyond this opposition. This no is not the no of negation, but the no that transcends having and not having. It's like when someone asks what color is the wind. A wise man will not argue whether the wind is white or black, but directly let the questioner feel the blowing of the wind. Zhou used the word no precisely to shatter the disciple's obsession with the words of Buddha nature, forcing him to jump out of the cage of logic to directly experience the unspeakable truth. The interpretation of this word no by later Zen masters shows more Zen wisdom. Zen master Yuanwu Kekin of the Song dynasty said in Beyond Lu, Zhou said the word no, like a golden-haired lion sitting on the ground, making all beasts' brains split when they hear it. This golden-haired lion is precisely the power to break the inertia of thinking. When practitioners cling to the word no to study, suddenly at a certain moment, their thoughts break. And they may, like Zhou's disciples in those years, see the stars all over the sky at the end of no. The vitality of Zhou's dog lies in that it can always reflect the spiritual predicament of each era. After the Song dynasty, this koan became a compulsory topic for Zen monks, and countless people sat through meditation cushions in the question of why a dog has no Buddha nature. Han Shen de King, a high monk in the Ming dynasty, once said, studying this word no is like swallowing a hot iron pill, which can't be spit out or swallowed. Suddenly, it bursts, and you will see your original face. This kind of practice of studying the topic is essentially a kind of spiritual nuclear fission, using continuous questioning to break the boundaries of reason, and finally blooming the spark of enlightenment on the ruins of thinking. In modern society, Zhou's dog still has strong practical significance. When we are entangled in success or failure and happiness or pain, are we repeating the confusion of having or not having of the disciples in those years? Zhou's word no reminds us that true freedom does not lie in finding the answer to the question, but in realizing that the question itself is a kind of bondage. Just like modern people are always looking for the meaning of life, but forget that the meaning is not in the search, but in life itself. What Zhou left behind is far more than the word no. He once said, "The ordinary mind is the way." The so-called ordinary mind is a mind not troubled by having or not having and gain or loss. When the disciple asked what is the ordinary mind, he replied, sleep when you want to sleep, sit when you want to sit, eating when hungry, sleeping when sleepy. This state of not being deliberate or persistent is exactly the life annotation of a dog has no Buddha nature. Today, the monks of Berlin's Zen monastery still keep the tradition of going to drink tea. When tourists ask about Zhou's dog, they may smile and pass a cup of tea. Do you think this tea has Buddha nature? The answer is already in the curling tea fragrance. Just like thousands of years ago, Zhou looked at the questioning disciple, perhaps thinking in his heart, don't ask whether a dog has Buddha nature, but first ask yourself, is the heartbeat at this moment the voice of Buddha nature?